Pessoal, Mário da USEG, iniciando aqui mais uma entrevista na BGS 2019, dessa vez com Howard Scott Warshaw, desenvolvedor de jogos da Atari no início dos anos 80 e desenvolvedor de um dos maiores clássicos do Atari, o Yars' Revenge, do Raiders of the Lost Ark, um jogo absolutamente fantástico. Você usava 2 controles do Atari, e do controverso ET. A gente vai dar uma palavrinha com ele com relação aos jogos que ele produziu no início da carreira dele na Atari. Howard, thank you for talking with us. We are from USEG, a social organization in Ceará, state of Brazil, and we foment the culture of the games in our city. And I'm a retro collector, like Ezequiel. We have many old video games, Atari games we played when we were young. So we knew your work since in the 80s. We were a child, but we are already playing games, Atari games, and we talked with Dave Ducrane 2 years ago, Nolan Bushnell, and it's a pleasure to know you here, because you are one of the great names of Atari, and some of the classic games that we play until today, you made. But nowadays you are a psychotherapist, yeah?
Yes, that's correct.
And how? But do you still play? Do you still develop in home for yourself, just for fun?
No, I'm not developing games anymore. I still play games.
Oh, okay.
I'm not developing games anymore, although I may start. There's one game I have been wanting to do for a long time, so I may do that. But I very much enjoy doing psychotherapy.
Okay. And you work in Silicon Valley with some young developments.
Correct.
Yeah. How is this work?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. In fact, it's given me a chance to come full circle in a lot of ways in my life. What it is I used to just entertain gamers. Now I actually help make their lives better with therapy.
Awesome.
But it's still bringing quality to the lives of gamers, which is something I always intend to do.
Okay. In the mid 80s, Activision become a company, and some of the great names of Atari left Atari and go to Activision. There is a kind of rivalry of Atari.
The rivalry between Atari and Activision and Magic.
Yeah. How it was? Did you consider to left Atari and go for one of the
I never
publishers?
thought to go to Activision. I did think to go to a Magic. In fact, I went to interview at a Magic once.
Oh, awesome.
And they rejected me because I think they didn't want the legal problems that there would have been if I would have left Atari to go there.
Okay.
But the truth is I didn't know the Activision people back then very well, because I came to Atari just after they left.
Oh, okay.
But I was there when the Magic people left, and they were people I really liked and really cared for, and continued to deal with and see them even after they left and were working at another company. We remained friends.
And it's until today, do you talk with these guys?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, next weekend I'm going to see several of them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Another question about this time. When you left Atari, did you consider to go to another company, or it's over at the time when you start to study psychology since then? How is this transition after left Atari?
When I left Atari, I was just kind of done with a lot of things. I think I was a little burnt out, and I just did entirely different things. I went into real estate for a while. I went into industrial robotics.
Okay.
I did movie making and photography. I did a lot of things before I went into psychology.
Okay.
It was a long journey to just find something meaningful to do. I even went back into games ultimately for a while before I became a therapist.
And about when you left Atari, ET is uncomprehended. Yeah, I don't know. The people don't know how to play ET, the game ET.
ET was more complicated, yeah.
But it's not that there is a bad game. It's some kind of difficult to play, but when you know how to play, it's
when you know
easy.
what to do. Yeah. So here's the thing. Nolan Bushnell used to say that a game has to be easy to learn and tough to master.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
That was his basic rule for games. And that's a good rule for coin-op games, right? For arcade games, it's important that they're easy to learn so people start playing, and they have to be tough to master so people keep putting coins in.
Yeah.
Home games, that's not true, right? A home game, people buy it once and now they have it and they're motivated to get value out of it. So what I felt was they still have to be tough to master, but it doesn't have to be as easy to learn, in my opinion. Because once they buy it, they should try to learn it.
Okay.
So a lot of people never wanted to read the manual, and I understand that. I don't like reading manuals
Okay,
either.
yeah, for sure.
But I did make games that were a little more complicated initially to get, and that probably hurt the games a little bit, but I felt I wanted to deliver a higher level of complexity in the games.
Okay.
And I felt in a home game there was more room to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. But you are frustrated with the negative
The ET negative?
about the ET for the
It's a really good question. I never used to think I was that bothered by it.
Okay.
I never saw the game as a failure. I always saw the game as a success because it was the fastest game ever developed, and it was a finished, done game. But a lot of people did see it as a mess and a failure, and I've always joked about it. I've always said that, Yar's Revenge is one of the best games of all time.
For sure.
Right? And
For
if
sure.
ET's the worst, then I have the greatest range of any designer in history. But the movie Atari Game Over,
Yeah, it's awesome too.
that was a cool movie,
Yeah.
and it really told the whole story. And when I finally saw that movie, when I first saw that go through, I had a very emotional reaction to it. And I realized that it really had impacted me more than I wanted to admit.
You have some advice to young developers for how to deal with the frustration of a negative reception of a game?
Negative feedback on a creative project is tough because I think if you're, they always say you shouldn't be too ego involved with things. I think if you're really a strong creative producer, you are ego involved. I don't think you make something great unless you really believe in it and put yourself into it. But when you do that, you run the risk of failure. And so you need to put yourself completely into a game. And then when the game is done, you need to release it. I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do. I'm saying that's the best advice.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to know
It's
you.
my pleasure. Thank you so much.
I hope that we have some time in the future to talk more about games.
I hope
And
so too.
It was a tremendous pleasure to know you because I love this guy here, Yar's Revenge, and this man is the man that create this awesome games that everybody that love games have to play this.
Obrigado.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
Till now.
Obrigado.